Hey everyone, it's Wednesday, December 23rd. The time is 5:40 p.m. and the temperature right now is 4 degrees Celsius. I'm here in front of Union Station, walking along the south side of Front Street West. And the plan for this one is to wander around the financial district for a bit and check out some of the various Christmas decorations that have gone up in this area. And then I'll head up to Phillips Square and check out the decorations at City Hall. And I'll take a look at the Hudsons Bay window decorations, as well as head up through the Labyrinth, which is located just next to the Eaton Centre. And then finally Dundas Square, and I think I'll finish up near the Barbara Ann Ice Trail at College Park. I was hoping to get here a bit earlier when the sky was just a bit lighter, but those plans were foiled by the Toronto Transit Commission. They were not running trains in either direction at Eglinton Station, or rather, trains weren't stopping at Eglinton Station. So eventually I gave up and just walked south to Davisville and jumped on a train. And by the time I got here, that nice purpley twilight sky is gone. But that's okay. I did make a video of the scene at Eglinton Station and my walk down to Davisville, so that will probably end up on my second channel, the Stumbles channel, but perhaps I'll post it on the main channel, I'm not really sure. There's a look south at the CIBC Square Towers. That's where you'll find the new GO Bus terminal. It's one of the more impressive new developments in the city. There's a Christmas tree in the base of these RBC towers. And one last look west down Front Street. I'll head over to Brookfield Place and take a peek in there. This is, of course, the day before Christmas Eve, so I guess it's the eve of Christmas Eve. And it's probably my last chance to get out and explore downtown at night before Christmas itself. All of the areas I'm checking out tonight I have explored somewhat recently in other videos and live streams. So I do apologize if things seem a bit redundant. And here's a look in BCE Place. At the end of this hallway here, there used to be the Movenpick Marché restaurant. I'm certain I'll miss some of the more notable decorations in this part of town, but I will try to catch most of them. There's someone just taking my car out for a spin. I just did a test of my first ever live driving stream. You can find that on the Johnny Stumbles channel, although you might be disappointed to know I wasn't driving one of those things. I was sporting a rather nifty Hyundai. And it's only 5:46, so this would still be the tail end of rush hour in the financial district. Although I'm not really sure rush hour is a thing anymore throughout this pandemic. But typically this is a day where a lot of people would have off, or you'd only kind of casually half-ass work the morning and then take off. At least that was my experience when I worked down here. And we're at the TD Centre, where there's a rather spectacular display in the courtyard. And this trio of trees would be the centerpiece. Hopefully my camera is doing this some justice. And there's the always present CN Tower looming over the city. So just to the north of here is King Street. And from there, I'll make my way up north to the Bay-Adelaide Centre, where they have a rather nice tree on display. There's one last look at the courtyard here at the Mies van der Rohe designed TD Centre. There's someone with a gimbal filming setup. And there's the building I used to work way up near the top at. Toronto certainly feels a lot less festive this year. I did a live stream last night through the Cabbagetown neighborhood, and thankfully there was no shortage of great Christmas decorations there. There's all kinds of little neat nooks and crannies between these buildings where you'll find various art displays and Christmas decorations. "'Tis the season for jaywalking." So here's some neat looking trees in front of Commerce Court West. I'm just gonna help myself to crossing the street there. There's a rather neat looking tree inside First Canadian Place. There's one of the city's ever-growing electric buses, or rather, the fleet seems to be growing. The buses themselves don't grow unless that's something I don't know about. Maybe they started off as small little buses that you put in the toilet and they get bigger from there. Who knows? There's a look into the parking garage of the St. Regis, formerly the Trump Tower. And across the street is the Bay-Adelaide Centre. This is best known as the setting of the TV show Suits. I can't imagine there's too many office workers still in these buildings right now. There's a neat, what looks to be either a reindeer or a moose in front of Scotia Plaza. And if I turn around, we'll get a glimpse of the reason I wandered over this way. A long time ago, this area used to be occupied by the famous Stump. They had started building the original tower here at Bay-Adelaide, and then a recession hit. So there was this partially completed stump rising out of the ground for the longest time, and eventually they got around to redeveloping the area. And there's currently 2 completed towers. And the third one is on the way, just behind the Christmas tree. Looks like they've done a fairly classy job. So just over to the east would be Yonge Street. And you know what? Maybe I'll head that way. Then I can pass the Saks Fifth Avenue and Hudsons Bay window displays. And cross the street over to Nathan Phillips Square.
Cut hard, buddy, cut hard.
It's always neat watching these big skyscrapers get erected. And we found Yonge Street. This here is Richmond Street, which is a one-way street that heads west. And that's a look at the south side of Saks Fifth Avenue. I've been past their window displays in a live stream and found them rather underwhelming. But the parent company of Saks Fifth Avenue is Hudsons Bay. And their store definitely has much more interesting Christmas window displays. In fact, for some reason, they're not displaying anything here. What is up with that?
food that they were talking about food ones.
Oh well, not that the display at Saks was particularly worth looking at anyways. There's the Eaton Centre. They typically have a giant Christmas tree in the center. And they do this year, but I won't be able to get in there to take a look at it. I could probably lie my way into there. And here's the displays in front of Hudsons Bay. And despite the sign saying the sidewalk is closed, people seem to have made a habit of walking along this stretch anyways. There's a look up at City Hall. Or rather, Old City Hall. I'm not setting a very good example in terms of following the rules tonight when I walk.
Go tell your mom.
And here is Queen and Bay. Just look south down Bay Street. And here's a very familiar sight. Phillips Square with its outdoor skating rink, which is open this year with a limited capacity of 25 people. You must reserve in advance, and apparently it's pretty much impossible to get a reservation for any time in the near future. The same goes for the Bentway, apparently. Looks like we might be nearing one of the changeover times. There's not many people out on the ice. And the moon makes an appearance. There's the new City Hall and the new Toronto sign, which replaced the temporary sign that was here for quite a while, going back to the Pan Am Games. I actually like the look of the older sign a bit better. It kind of had a bit of a bolder, chunkier, more playful font. So the new one's not too bad. And there's the big tree. It's got a few lumps in it, but that's okay.
So the cactus, it was in my box. I didn't open it, I was just opening the box.
There you go, if you're looking for a cactus, you should probably contact that lady. And if she says she doesn't have it, ask her to show you inside her box. That'll put her on the spot. So I'll head over to the Labyrinth area right now. I recently posted a walkthrough here as a members exclusive for Patreon and channel members. That video will be available for everyone else in less than 30 days time. I'm tripping over my words already. And those videos appear on the Stumbles channel, if you're wondering where to find them. You often have to look at the button to see if it's for audible signal only, which would be for people who are hard of hearing, or rather, that's not true at all for people that are not the best sighted. I'm struggling to think of a politically correct way to say that. But sometimes you'll stand at an intersection and you'll miss the traffic cycle because you didn't press the button. So you have to pay attention to if it's one of the ones where you have to press the button or not. They want to redevelop this spot into a 70-story tower. Back in the early 2000s, as something of a skyscraper geek, That kind of news would get everyone excited. But these days, you don't really bat an eye at the idea of a 70-story tower going up. There's a look at the Eaton Centre. Which unfortunately is not open as it normally would be. The province's orders have only businesses that sell essential goods able to open to in-store customers. Normally the Eaton Centre would be an absolute zoo throughout the month of December. Although I found it's typically not that bad if you go there on the 24th. And here we are at the Labyrinth. There's an old beautiful church just straight ahead. Hopefully, for the sake of these people living outside, we have a nice warm Christmas. And there is the Church of the Holy Trinity. This structure dates back to 1847. And when the Eaton Centre was developed, they were very wise to preserve it. I think there's a giant reindeer just inside of the Eaton Centre here. And you could cut through there. Looks like there's some police lights flashing along Dundas Street. So I'll just head over to Bay Street, then up to Dundas. And pop over to Dundas Square. There's a look south down Bay Street. So just on the right is a large Canadian Tire store. And here's Dundas Street West. Just on the left is the Little Tokyo neighborhood. And there is a look inside Canadian Tire, which for some reason is allowed to open and operate as normal. I guess the 3 people that went there today to buy car parts justify having the whole store open? I don't know. And here's Best Buy. Looks like they have a monster lineup outside. CP 24 News.
What do I have to do?
Number of police cars. Maybe I'm living under a rock, but I have no idea what's going on.
One more thing, at least for me, in terms of what you guys have been seeing from the number of accidents. I mean, I know we can't go into statistics right now, but have there been less?
They seem to be talking about an accident. Maybe I could ask someone what's going on. Oh well, hopefully nobody was hurt in whatever this is for. And here we are at the corner of Yonge and Dundas. The more you come here, the more you see the same faces on the various street corners. And I would say this is probably the busiest and liveliest I've seen Dundas Square in quite a while. I guess this would be the centerpiece. Somehow, it's very appropriate for Dundas Square. You really wouldn't expect a real tree or anything along those lines. It kind of fits in with the area. And I'm not being negative. I think it's actually kind of neat how well it complements the rest of the environment here. This place had a lot of criticism when it was first built, especially the development across the street known as Metropolis back then, which is probably one of the worst designed buildings I've ever been in. But that aside, you get that nice Blade Runner effect in this area, especially on a rainy or foggy day. We're gonna swing by the Praise Jesus guy. Hello. Merry Christmas.
So I go in.
He's been a fixture of that particular corner since the beginning of time. He certainly outlasted the sticker lady. So I'm heading north up the west side of Yonge Street. And it's kind of refreshing to see so much life on the streets. Like most of the city, this area has just been a shadow of its former self. Unfortunately, there's been a lot of businesses that have closed along this stretch. But here's a new Jollibee, which has a rather large line. They're opening one of those at Yonge and Eglinton, near where I live. That's the Salad King. It's a well-known Thai restaurant. It used to be located just around the corner from here. Mr. Impatient playing with his car horn. This Swiss Chalet here, or rather former location of Swiss Chalet, has been a fixture on Yonge Street for a very long time. And there's a karaoke bar up top. Bar Karaoke Lounge. I sure hope they're getting some kind of relief. That's probably the last type of establishment that'll be allowed to reopen. There's a stalled development on the corner there. Formerly the home of the Big Slice Pizza. Sort of waiting a new developer to take over and finish it. And here we are at our final stop on this eve of Christmas Eve walk. This will be the Barbara Ann Scott Ice Trail at College Park. From here I'll dip into College Station. And here's the ice trail, which opened last year actually, or rather reopened. It had been closed for quite a while. I did a dedicated video on this earlier, where I talked a bit more about it. Some people have commented that, oh, hope she's okay. As I was saying, some people have commented that people seem to be going the wrong way around the trail. Truth is, there's really no right or wrong way. Especially not if you know how to skate. It's probably a good thing that they mix up the directions. You can do it. Stay up. Whoop. Ooh, he should be wearing gloves. Okay, now I'll head on into College Station. I hope you enjoyed this walk. That started off in the financial district. I kind of wandered through some of the more notable Christmassy areas, at least in this part of downtown. I hope everyone watching has a great holidays. Just gotta put a mask on here. I think these doors are open. If you're interested in supporting the channel, you can check out channel memberships on the channel page on YouTube, as well as Patreon membership. And I don't know why I came this way. Had one of those WTF are you doing moments. And it's 6:30. $6:34 actually. That took me a little longer than I thought it would. I'm heading to the northbound train. Looks like the next train is on its way. All right, I'd like to thank you guys for watching, and I will catch you on the next one.
Line 1, toward Finch. Please stand clear of the doors. Next station is Wellesley. Wellesley Station.